What's up? Steve Holmes, live from Los Angeles, December 15th, 2024. What is going on? We're back. We're back here in the drum room, trying to rub sticks together, trying to see what's what. Trying to figure out what to play today, actually. Hope everyone's having a great weekend, getting ready for the crazy holidays. What we do here is we kind of drum. We talk about drums, but a lot of the discourse is driven by the chat. So feel free to post questions, post comments, and let's talk about stuff. What is going on? Everyone's posting their Primus audition, right? Hashtag Primus audition. That's pretty crazy. I mean, what a way to find your drummer. What a way to audition, right? Hashtags on YouTube. That's pretty crazy. I think it's pretty fascinating, actually. I played in a cover band in New Jersey, like in the early 90s, like 93, 94, actually 91, 92. This is before I left for LA. It was this cover band. We played at this place called Crilly Circle Tavern in Brigantine, New Jersey. Really cool band. Still in touch with some of those guys too, like on Facebook and whatever, but super fun gigs, playing like classic rock covers. And I was right out of high school, so I was all Neil Pearted out and whatever. but kind of dipping my toe into the fusion thing as well. Anyway, we played Jerry Was a Waste Car Driver, and I remember trying to learn that tune back then. That was super fun. I mean, Tim Alexander is, he's a great drummer. I think it's interesting that he's got to do what he's got to do. It's pretty cool. You reach a certain point, and priorities change and whatever, and you got to do what you got to do. And I think an interview in Rolling Stone is like that's how you're going to announce. That's how you're going to set the record straight. I mean, that kind of speaks for itself in terms of his success and his status. He definitely inspired tons of drummers. And I think it's cool that the band's going to go on and folks are going to, post their auditions on YouTube. I mean, what better way to do it? I mean, they found the singer from Journey, right? They found him. Man, what's his name? I want to say Raul or something like that. He sounds great. They found him on YouTube. So, yeah, kind of sign of the times, right? So yeah, hope folks are having a great weekend. We're gonna do some warming up, some improvising here, just kind of rub sticks together and see what's what. I spent a lot of time yesterday warming up and just trying to get the hands a little loosey goosey, and you never know what's gonna happen when you sit down. So let's do that. Let's see if we can't play some drums. Okay. So post those comments, post those questions, and we'll see what we can talk about after a bit. Okay. My name's Steve Holmes. Thanks for hanging out. Let's play some drums. It looks like one of our cameras stopped working. It's a shame. Let's check on that, shall we? Let's check on that. All right, yeah, the stream's going.
All right, howdy. What's up, folks? It's Steve Holmes.
Yes, indeed it is. Hey, just checking on comments here. Ian on Facebook. What's going on, Ian? Hope you're doing well, man. Says any new recent music releases that you like. Let's see. We met a number of times. Oh, actually, this is an old.
We're streaming live from Los Angeles.
Yes,
Here
yes, we are. Let's see. All right. Yes, we are. One of the cameras is kind of broken. Let's see. Let's turn on that camera. Boom. Yeah, look at that. Frozen in time. All right, let's see if we can fix it. Let's see if we can fix it. We're jiggling things. All right, camera, start working. Pulling on cords. Unplugging, plugging back in. This may or may not work. Here we go. Da-da-da-da. Unplugging my in-ears. Wrestling with technology. This is part of it, folks. This is all part of it. All right, well, I guess we'll just go without that camera. That kind of sucks. Oh, it was on for a second, eh? Look at that. It came back on for a second. Isn't it fun watching folks wrestle with technology? Let's try it again. Boom. It's all mumble jumbled. Let's try to fix it again. Oh, there we go. For a second, it was back. Oh, I think that might have done it. Let's see. Now we're doing this. We're unplugging this. Clearly, we're going to delete this stream. We'll see. Anyway. Is that working? Oh, hey. It's working now. Yay. I wonder how long it was broken. I wonder how long. I wonder how long. All right. Let's see what folks are saying. I wonder how long it was broken. Oh, man. None of the chat's showing up. We got a bunch of people on YouTube. Can I bring this over? Here's the... Oh, thanks. Can we bring this over? Web chat? Oh, there you go. There's some of it. Love how you explore a certain lick before moving on to something else. Smooth like butter. Keith B. That's Snare Flutter. Customer support. Oh, man. That was fun. We had some good stuff going. And then the camera broke. Yeah. So yesterday I spent a lot of time warming up, man. I was just like powering through singles, powering through doubles, and powering through paradiddles. Like we've talked about that before. Like one of my favorite warm-ups is like over 16-note triplets and doing singles, but like alternating between like literally just manually powering through the strokes, but then also like switching to Moeller technique, and then switching to doubles, and then switching to like paradiddles. You know, it's a really good workout. Let me do that for a minute. To the point of no return. So again, singles, doubles, paradiddles, and on the singles, I was changing between like just like powering out the strokes, and then also Moeller. But when I was doing the Moeller, I was doing like groups of 3. You know, like ta 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 ta, and like cha ta ta cha ta ta cha ta with the left hand. But then I also find it helpful when doing the Moeller of doing groups of 2. You know, ta 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 cha ta, like, but still over the same subdivision. So let me do that. I'll do the Moeller thing, and I'll change between groups of 3 and groups of 2, but staying over top of 16-note triplets. Again, a great warm up exercise. Great for just getting the hands moving. You know. So let me do that. Da-da-da-da. So just going like one of my favorite warm-ups, and good to just, you know, get the hands going. But because of that, you know, because of the accents, you know, being right on the downbeat, does when you're doing groups of 3. And then when you're doing groups of 2, you know, the accent changes to basically the quarter note triplet. Does, you know, that kind of thing. So really good exercise for building up your hands. And then again, like we were doing before, switching between doubles and paradiddles. Actually, just doing doubles and paradiddles together, you know, without the singles is also super helpful over top of 16-note triplets. Let's do that for a second. So at the end there, just kind of going into, the concept of staying over top of 16-note triplets, starting with hand-to-hand paradiddles, but then starting to improvise different phrases using either paradiddles, paraparadiddles, or paradiddle diddles, whatever. And at that point, I'm just improvising with just some very basic phrases, right? That's what I'm thinking, but I'm just filling in all the notes with the paradiddles, right? And when you put the accents on different parts of the kit, cymbal with a bass drum or without a bass drum, and toms and splashes, blah blah blah. Like you kind of get it. But that's that's like one of my favorite things that I think is applicable to all kinds of different types and different feels. So that's fun. Let's see what folks are saying. Don't want to leave folks hanging because at the beginning I'm all like, hey, let's chat, and then like I'm not even reading the comments. Okay, let's see. Ryan Cox on YouTube says, let's show what he's saying. We'll scroll down a little bit. He says, I play Moeller like, says Keith. Peace in pocket, says Blaze. Okay, compounding, sticking every drummer needs. Yeah, it's true. Gary Chafee books. Do you think the push pulls are useful for jazz? I know Tony Williams used that on the ride cymbal a lot. Sure. I actually don't do that too much. Like the kind of open close push pull. I don't capitalize on that as much as I should, but it sure is an effective technique based on, watching guys do it, that really have it happening, guys, or, watching folks do it that really have it happening. I've spent a little bit of time on it, but certainly not I don't have it like going, really fast. It's funny because when I was speeding up there at the end, I tried to like lower the dynamics because, the less space the stick has to travel. So you play softer than the more you can kind of increase the speed there. And then I tried to like play loud and fast instead of soft, and it's like it just takes so much more effort. It's kind of interesting, but I think there's value to getting that happening, So yeah, 16-note triplets, singles, doubles, paradiddles, different paradiddle combinations, super fun. Let's see. Someone on YouTube says, changing from linear feel to swing feel and then back again. Think in 16ths is best way, ? That was, let's see who's saying that at the bottom here. Work Groosman. Sorry, the normal chat isn't like displaying, or else I could show folks, but so I have to like check each chat separately to see what folks are saying. Try not to leave folks hanging. When someone says linear, that's just linear just means playing in a fashion where notes aren't stacking on top of each other. Every note is played like individually, and no two notes are on top of each other, or played at the same time, I should say. And so when someone says linear, it could be like any subdivision, but he's saying like think in 16ths is the best way. I try to like, it's important to me to be competent in all subdivisions, be it 8th note triplets, 16th notes, 16-note triplets, 32nd notes, 8th notes, quarter notes, whatever, quarter note triplets. I think it's important to be comfortable, anchoring on to all those subdivisions, you know what I mean? And so, the only time I'm thinking in a particular subdivision, if that's the subdivision I want to play, in terms of changing from linear to swing, linear could be swung, but I think I get what you're saying. Basically changing from straight to swung, is something that folks seem to ask a lot about, and that's just being comfortable internally with just being able to go dot 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 dot, like just understanding, that kind of, the severe contrast between straight and swung, but also like, taking it to the like, the grooves, like boots, dots, dots, bones, this is where like, being a musical expert, comes into play, because if you're going to sit behind the drums in a room with other musicians, you should be a musical expert, right? Because you're adding to the music, you're creating music, and that can be intimidating. And so that's where it helps to be familiar with all kinds of music that is swung and all kinds of music that is straight, and being able to call upon that like instantly in your head at any time, be it music or just drumming, being able to switch gears, quickly and instantly be able to go from one to the other, there's value to that. So let's do a little bit of that. So this will be like kind of changing feels like on a dime, going from, whatever the several different feels. So obviously extreme like examples, but I tried to stay within the same quarter note, and straight eighth, whatever 12 8 deuce, boot dash, do deuce, do, doing that with and without accenting the quarter note on the hi-hat, like, halftime swing, double time swing, my cheesy Naningo, thing in there, 6/8, like a heavy metal double bass thing. Like it's all about feeling different feels against the same quarter note. It's all about being able to do that drop of a dime, getting familiar with, all the different styles and being able to just play those styles in a way that's recognizable. So people, oh yes, okay, now he's playing. Oh, hey, that's like a Latin kind of thing, whatever, So I think that's super important. This is to answer the question talking about changing from like linear feels to swing feels and sixteenths, and I kind of interpreted that question as about changing different feels. Let's see. Ryan Cox on YouTube says, "Is there a certain tempo range where you typically switch from swung to straight on the ride cymbal?" Tempo range? I mean, maybe everyone tends to stay within their comfortable tempo. You know what I mean? And I make effort to kind of push myself out of that, because I'm always in kind of a slow medium kind of thing, because you can change feels a lot within that, but at the last stream, we practiced along with the click, and I turned it up to like whatever, 123 or something. And, so I'm trying to do that. But I couldn't tell you a range, Ryan, but you've seen enough of my streams to where you could probably tell me like, oh, Steve, you tend to stay between like 85 and 111 or something, yeah. So that's that. Let's see on YouTube. Let's see what folks are saying on Facebook. Let's see. Someone's like, awesome, love it. Okay, cool. So not a lot of questions on Facebook. So as usual, YouTube is where it's at. I was gonna sign up for X Premium, so I could broadcast to X, and then instead of something like Kick or
So in California,
Twitch, which I'm also broadcasting to. So yeah, we talked about hands warming up. We talked about going to different feels. I mean, when you're trying to learn those different feels, it's important to just learn like the basic, the basic version of those grooves. But I mean, like that can be deceptive. People, folks tend to think that, I've got it kind of happening with hi-hat, bass drum, snare drum, and I can play a basic straight eighth groove. I mean, like there are so many different ways to kind of, if you imagine like turning a knob a little bit on a mixing board, but instead of changing the mix, you're kind of, changing, like the hi-hat, different things like the tip on the top versus the shoulder on the side, and people tend to just kind of go to the Moeller technique like we were talking before. So as soon as you start doing the Moeller technique, inevitably you're going to start playing accents. And of course, playing accents on the hi-hat during a groove is going to change the feel, whether you like it or not. And people tend to kind of lock in. I'm like, I'm just going to play it the way I always do. It's just kind of automatic pilot without giving a lot of thought, to the fact that you can drastically change the feel of a groove, whether you're playing tip, tip or shoulder, not to mention like the different ways of like loosening, I tend to like, shoulder on the side, it sounds better like when it's kind of loosey-goosey, and then like, tight staccato tip on the top, depending upon, the kind of energy that the song needs, like maybe first verse versus second verse or versus like, bridge that kind of launches into this big chorus. You can drastically change the energy of the groove. And that's the kind of thing that you want to happen on purpose instead of, by accident, because that's just how you happen to do it, So that was my attempt at, kind of demonstrating that, like, tip on the top with no accents. I started with, I was thinking of like Steely Dan while I was doing that, Erskine, Erskine tends to play, kind of like that, like tip on top, like that's kind of, I find that's his range, depending upon what the song needs. Obviously, I mean, he's a master drummer, and I friggin' love that guy. Saw a very interesting interview with him recently. He is just he is a living, breathing lifetime of drumming, and he's so well spoken, and his playing is just so musical, and I love that guy. But yeah, I was kind of thinking of that, like tip on top, and then I switched to kind of like accenting every other one, kind of Moeller, and also like tip, on the snare drum versus like rim shot, like this versus kind of this. I mean, you get a huge different sound, and again, like that's the kind of thing, you want to be in control of when you're playing your grooves, you know, and it absolutely changes the energy of the tune, you know, when you do stuff like that. And so I would encourage folks to, you know, if you're playing original music or whatever, like, you know, really take advantage of that, you know. And I'm totally thinking of music when I'm doing that, like when I turn on the sloshy hats and I'm kind of bashing that. It's just like, you know, building up to some big like Pearl Jam chorus or something, you know. That stuff is so fun to play, you know. I kind of miss that stuff. Kind of miss playing with that stuff, you know, high energy like rock music, you know. It's super challenging to output that energy, but you know, let the mics do the work. Man, that's such a shame. You know, I've played so many rock clubs and just the sound guys you're just at their mercy. You know, it's such a bummer to listen back to a recording at a gig and like the only thing you hear is a kick and snare, and meanwhile it's like a guitar player like only being able to hear like two strings basically. It's crazy. I can remember literally tipping cash to sound guys and being like, I use my whole kit. Like I play like, you know, a range of volume on my snare drum. Like, please, you know, please, I want to be heard. Here's some money. It's no wonder Weck, you know, decided a long time ago to be like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to be my own sound guy. I'm bringing my own gear. I'm going to do my mix. I'm going to send a stereo feed, like it or not. I mean, the patience, the setting up a kit is like a pain in the butt enough. It's like he sets out, it's bananas. It's bananas. And as a result, he gets like the perfect drum sound. It's kind of crazy. Let's see what else folks are saying. Let's see, gigs or studio, do you naturally lock in with the bass or do you let the bass lock into your groove? I mean, obviously it's case by case, you know, it depends, you know, whatever it is, it's a collaboration. You know, whatever it is, it's a collaboration. So just, you know, I wouldn't make any assumptions. You know, I'd always talk to the bass player, you know, on tune by tune, case by case, and just, you know, be in concert with each other, for, you know, pun intended, I guess, be in concert with each other and just agree on like what are we going for? Like, what is the intention of the tune? What is the intention of the groove? You know, is it the kind of groove where the bass drum and the bass guitar are like they're doubled up? In which case you shouldn't vary the bass drum. Or is it the kind of thing where the bass is just playing like kind of big long notes, you know, kind of like as tent poles for you to fill in with kind of a varied groove. You know what I mean? These are all the kind of things that should be discussed and agreed upon, instead of, again, like, I'm just going to play and hope that things sound good, you know? And so, you know, it depends on what you're going for. And I would just, you know, talk to the bass player, you know. Let's see. PC Warrior Dude says, patience as a drummer, I hear you. Could you mess with the swing percentage as you're playing? Interesting question, talking about like changing, you know, how much, you know, because I like before in my example, I was like, here's straight, here's swung. And he's talking about maybe turning that dial, you know, so it's kind of partially swung. And I mean, I can try to do that. It probably won't be very good. You know, I've always wanted to spend some time turning on the click and like just, you know, maybe like quintuplet and just like the fifth and first quintuplet, you know, you know, that kind of thing, you know, that kind of thing where it's like the pickup note and the downbeat is, you know, that kind of in between, you know, 3 and 4 or you know, 2.5 or whatever, you know, between, you know, 4 and 6 or whatever. I can't, like, if I were to, you know, change, you know, between like straight and swung, I probably wouldn't stay in any particular place very long. I would probably swagger like, whoa, it's a little swung. No, now we're back to straight, I see. And whoa, okay, well, we're back to swung a little bit. It's the kind of thing that I would be, I mean, since you're asking, I'll just make a fool out of myself and let's see if we can get to a place where we're kind of going back and forth and maybe we'll find a halfway point, you know? So I'll do like, you know, to help myself, just speaking out loud in terms of like how I would approach something like this, I would, you know, establish extremes, like, okay, extremely swung, extremely straight. And then once we're there, kind of go between, you know, that kind of thing. So let's embarrass ourselves and do that. All right. I do this for you, internet, because you asked, because I'm not very good at this kind of thing. yeah, I couldn't really get there, eh? Like I kept, like I said, I kept going like back and forth between straight and swung, and kind of creep up from one to the other, but never like settled in on that in between thing. You know what would really help with that is like, thinking of a particular tune that kind of sits like in the middle. I'm thinking of oh man, what's that band with that they've got like a woman singer and this great bass player and this great drummer. I forget the name of them, but a lot of their stuff is like, that kind of that in between straight and swung. It's on the. I'll think of it. It'll come to me. But yeah, that stuff is really, really, really challenging. Kind of went into like a double bass, like straight and like whatever. Hey, Isaac Lee is here on YouTube. He says, "Hey, Steve. Let's see. We want to see you get humiliated and shamed online." Well, there you go. Every time I turn on the stream button, man, I am getting humiliated and stream. Let's see. Someone's saying, "Hey, Lewis Cole. Let's see. Dirty. Thank you so much, man. Did you have that gradual straightened in? Super interested in stuff like that. Did you have that gradual straightened in? Let's see. Maybe time signature changes help make the straight in between. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't. I mean, not really. I think a time signature change would just kind of throw a monkey wrench in the whole thing for me. Ooh. Causing a commotion here. Anyways, what's up, folks? It's Steve Holmes. We're doing the Drum Room Hang. It's Sunday, December 15th, 2024. Cheers. Keep those questions coming. Keep those comments coming. We talked about hands earlier. We did some warm-ups. Talking about going between straight and swung. These are fun, meaty topics. Let's see, what else are folks saying? Oh, dude, Alexander Marenko on Facebook. Man, Alexander, love you so much. Love your playing, man. Thank you for the support and kind comments. Everyone should check out Alexander Marenko. Alexandr Marenko, Murenko. He says, I give you 10-inch clear ambassador. I have a 10-inch clear ambassador. I like the way the coded sounds here. I need to change these, actually. I'm just so lazy. Yeah, the 10, 12, 16. I thought about doing a stream and changing a couple heads because folks really like that. I've done that in the past. I've done 2, actually, streams where we just change all the heads on the kit because folks seem to like that. And it kind of makes sense. It's not the kind of thing where, like, as a drummer, you're just kind of like left to kind of figure it out, and it's such a personal thing. And so I think folks kind of like, seeing someone else's approach and that kind of thing. And my approach is not very scientific. It's just I know the sound that I like, and I just keep tuning until I get that sound. But having said that, these are kind of tuned. They're kind of tuned a little lower than I'd like anyway. The 12 and the 16. The 10 I think is in a pretty good place. It's a little hot in the mix, but it's fun. He's gonna send me a 10, whatever. Alexander's such an amazing drummer. Definitely check him out if you haven't. Let's see what else are folks saying. Was the band you were trying to think of? No, it's not. It was not Nowhere with Lewis Cole on drums. They're freaking amazing. But man, Lewis Cole. There's one tune in particular of Lewis Cole's that I was really digging. Someone asked me like, "Hey, new music that that I kind of like." There was a tune by Lewis Cole. Let me see if I can find it. And it's actually it'd be great to discuss this groove because it's in 5, but the groove is in 4 over top of it. Let's see. Let me find that. Oh yeah, there's Nowhere. He's so funny. This is one of the tunes where he plays like by himself. I'll find it. He plays by himself in his room. And this groove that that I knew I had heard of before. Normally I wouldn't be able to like, oh my God, what is this? You know. But I had heard it before on this other tune with a guy I know, Panos. All right, here we go. Okay, It's Enough, it's called. All right, an advertisement is playing. Let's see. Man, this tune. Let me put in the let me put in the in-ear so I can hear what you're hearing. But I mean, as soon as I start playing this, I'm like gonna get a copyright hit. But whatever. The tune is called "It's Enough." Let's see if we can play it. Is this it? Check this out.
These trails you leave are decorative and form a map of your plans. Well, you've shown me this in drawing before when you were here down on earth. And to see it high up in the sky doesn't really change its world.
Okay, so in the chorus here, pay attention to the hi-hat, because that's where the quarter note is. The bass drum and the snare drum is not where the quarter note is. Okay, there you go, Lewis Cole. It's Enough. Or Nate Wood. Sorry, I get the two confused. This is not Lewis Cole. You guys are all like, oh, it's Nate Wood. I get those guys confused, but this tune is amazing, and I can demonstrate a basic, like a basic thing of this. But again, the quarter note is in 5 and the groove is in 4, right? Let's see if we can do a basic version of that. So the quarter note is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bunt, got, right? It's interesting because there is a formula, actually a mathematical formula, to figure out how to get anything over anything, right? Like 7 over 11, or 3 against 5, or 2 over 7. There's a formula actually, and the formula is like in this case. If you want to get, 4 over 5, you multiply those numbers together, which gives you 20, right? And then how do you get 20 notes in 5, right? So you'd have to just play 16th notes, right? Because 5 times 4 is 20. So you have 5 quarter notes worth of 16th notes. But then you accent the time signature that you're going in, right? So in this case, it's 5. So you play, groups of 16 notes, but you accent every 5th one. So if you accent every 5th 16th note in 5/4, you get 4 against 5, right? So let's do that, right? So again, we're in 5, and we're going to play 16th notes. Then we're going to accent every 5th one. That's what's going to happen. All right, so that's how that works, right? We're in 5/4. We're playing 16th notes. We're accenting every 5th one. Every 5th one. So, step 1 is like just writing all that out. Write 5/4, write out 16th notes, put an accent over top of every 5th one, and like look at where those accents fall in relation to the quarter note. The first one is the 16th after, boom, ba. The second one, I should say, right? The first one's right on the downbeat, right? So it's boom, ba. That's the first 2, right? The third one is on the and, right? It's right in the middle. It's on the 8th note. Boom, ba, boom, right? Then the third one is on the right? Because we're shifting 16th notes, right? It's on the E, it's on the and it's on the right? That's how that works. Boom, ba, boom, ba, right? It's right before the downbeat. So it's helpful to kind of make that association, you know what I mean? Like write it out, get the visual. It takes all of 2-3 minutes, and then just get the hand to hand, turn on the click, get the hand to hand accents going every 5th one, try different stickings, then start putting in the bass drum and the snare drum. Boom, batch, bunch, batch. And notice like when I'm singing it, like I'm still singing the quarter note, like you can hear me insinuating the quarter note, boom, batch, bunch, batch, boom. Batch, that kind of thing. So that's how you get something like that together. That's how that song works. That's how that groove works. So that was Nate Wood. It's Enough. It's called Love That Song. And we were talking about Lewis Cole, and those guys kind of like, I get those two mixed up. Apologies. So super cool. Let's see, Ryan Cox. Let's see. Was the band you were is going back to the YouTube chat here. Let's see. Trust the force and go. Polyrhythms are beautiful. Talent. Yeah. Yeah. This is how this stuff works. I mean, talking about in between strung and straight. What's going on here? What does the stream sound like actually? We're close to live. What does that 5 against 4 thing sound like? Particular tune that kind of sits like in the middle, Whatever, Steve. Shut up. That's not a horrible drum sound. It's hard to get a good drum sound live, And it sucks. The way that I usually look at comments is not working. Why is that? So I have to go to each individual thing, and maybe if I refresh it. Now I'm gonna have that in my head all day. Actually, you know what? The other example, we should talk about the other example of that groove. The 4/5 thing. Okay, Fire Merchants, Landlords of Atlantis is the name of the CD. And then the tune that is in 5/4, let's find it. This is like a playlist of all the tunes. Simple Lifetime. Let me find it first. Is this it? Let's get past the advertisements. That's not it. Let's try this one. Oops. All right, so let's play that from the beginning again, right? You get the kick and the snare is the 4 against the 5, right? This is Toss Panos on drums. If you guys are not hip to Toss, check out Toss. He's amazing. Yeah, so great example. Check out that whole record, Fire Merchants, Landlords of Atlantis, and I could just go all day. Since we've already taken the record out, check out Thing 15. This is a great example of what you can do if you get comfortable in 7/8, right? If you get comfortable in 7/8, you can just play a bar 4/4, and then 7/8, and 4/4 and 7/8, and then you're in 15. Because there's 8/8 notes in 4/4, so you have 8 plus 7, it's 15. It's amazing. This thing starts with a bass solo, but we're going to fast forward through that. So this is 15. This is not the 5 against 4 thing. Let's get to the oh man, I'm interrupting it. Oh, it's because the sound. Okay, there you go. 4/4 and 7/8 together equals 15, right? Super simple. Let's do that for a second. Here's what that sounds like. Man, I love that song. It's just a trio. John Goodsall on guitar, Doug Lund on bass, Toss Panos on drums. Fortunately, only Toss is still with us. Doug Lund and John Goodsall, I believe, are both rest in peace. Man, I actually had a chance to see them, too, at the Whiskey in Los Angeles when I first moved to LA, and I was going to Musicians Institute, and Toss was a teacher there, and he needed a drum tech at the Whiskey for a show with these guys, and I was like, I'll do it, you know. I didn't even like really tech. I just went, and I didn't even have a drum key, I think. I was all nervous. I couldn't even get like, I was so like new, just throwing myself into situations. But man, Toss is a great drummer. Check him out. He's all over like Instagram and all that stuff. And I've seen him play a bunch. I've taken, after I graduated from school, I took like at least one private lesson with him because I was just so into his playing. Particularly with Mike Keneally. If you guys aren't hip to Mike Keneally, he's a guitar player that used to play with Frank and now has a successful solo career. He's got a couple of solo records. One is called Hat. One is called Boil That Dust Speck. And Toss plays beautifully on all that stuff. It's awesome how like, and this is the kind of thing that doesn't happen now. It's like, I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you know, you buy a recording, you kind of get into the recording. I mean, like get into it. Don't just like casually listen to it and like, find other recordings that whenever the bass player is on or the drummer's on that you like, and that leads to other things, and that leads to other things, and that leads to other things, and that's just kind of how it was, And you could still do that. It's probably easier if anything, but man, like this is the stuff. This is the road. This is the trail that kind of helped me, build the foundation, of musical knowledge, musical inspiration, that kind of thing. Let's hear The Watchers by Jeff Beal. Ryan Cox. He's talking about, playing in 5. Yeah, we've dug into that recording. I see Jeff Beal like on Facebook and stuff, and I'm always like, oh my, it was the guy that did, 3 Graces, Now he does like soundtracks and stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that record is amazing. So all right, I'm gonna play a little bit more and then we're gonna call it. I appreciate folks hanging out. We're just gonna kind of see what happens. Maybe we'll stick with that 15 thing and have some fun with that. Let's see. Man, I'm too old to be doing that hand fun stuff anymore. The wheels really start coming off when you do that. Ooh, that's fun though, huh? It's actually a good workout, like physically, to like get like 3 strokes per drum, like one individual per drum, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like separately, you know. But that's how that kind of works, you know. Let's see if we can like slow that down and get that to a decent place. See what I'm saying? It's like that's like a coordination, but also like a motion workout. You know, I mean, it's got like no musical validity at all. I mean, it sounds kind of neat, but I find it it's a good challenge to get the the 3 and then 2, but it's all separate drums. You know, and putting every other foot underneath of it. You know, we call that the ladder. It's fun, good times. All right, well, I think we're gonna call it there. I think I've embarrassed myself enough. I appreciate folks hanging out. I appreciate all the questions. Again, my name's Steve Holmes. It's December 15th, 2024. Hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. Thanks for hanging out. If anyone's interested in supporting, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're coming up on 26,000 subscribers, I think. It would be great, more subscribers. We get to keep the content going. There's a Linktree link in the description that has different ways to support the channel if folks are inclined to support. I don't have a Patreon or anything like this. Is it just me like streaming on weekends and making a fool out of myself? All this so we can train AI Steve in the future, which will be an AI bot that is sarcastic and has a good knowledge of drumming history. That might be interesting to some people. I don't know. Anyways,